Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Today I have a little yapping video because I wanted to talk about something that's been bothering me for a long time, and that is, why are new released books so bad? According to me. I thought it was just me for the longest time, so I've been asking people, like, do you guys feel like the last few years all the new release books are just objectively not good? Or is it just me? Is it just my taste changing? What's going on? And I don't just mean one genre, I mean all of them. I mean horror, thriller, literary fiction, contemporary, romance, fantasy, anything that comes out that is a new release, that's hyped, that you like, the first thing you see when you walk into a bookstore, the first thing you see when you walk into Barnes & Noble, those books 90% of the time are not good. And I was asking people, I asked a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of people agreed with me. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. Like, we're all seeing this problem. And they're like, yes. So I asked on Instagram, if you follow me on there, I do have 2 Instagrams, they're linked down below. And I was like, guys, hello, why are new release books so bad? Give me your thoughts and opinions. And I also asked on my Patreon Discord. And so I actually got a lot of responses, like way more than I thought. And of course I had my own opinions and theories, and a lot of the opinions matched up with mine. So I wanted to, as I was going through them, I jotted down some points, and I wanted to go through today and talk about why I feel like these new release books are objectively not good, and what's going on in our world, in our society. It all boils down to capitalism. But I wanted to specifically talk about, more in-depthly than that, some points about capitalism and short form content and how I feel those things are changing how we are reading, the books that are being pushed, and just the algorithm and issue with the book space in general. So stay tuned. As always, this video is not meant to offend anyone. I'm not attacking anyone for what you choose to read. If you read a lot of new release books and you love them, I'm happy. I just want people to be enjoying what they read. This video is for like the people that keep reading books, giving into the hype, and realizing that they're not that good. Like, if you are like, what is going on in the world, this video is for you. I just don't want anyone to feel like I'm attacking certain authors or certain readers or certain genres or whatever. This is just an issue that has been going on in my brain for a while that I need to get out. So the issue that I'm noticing with a lot of these new release books, like I said, it doesn't matter on the genre. They are almost always lacking character development, character depth, exploration. The writing is very simplistic, which you don't need elaborate, in fact, I don't even like elaborate, poetic, purple prose writing. In fact, I don't like that at all. That's not what I'm saying. But all of these books are just very surface level, is what I'm trying to say. It's like basic, easy, surface level, no characterization, very plot heavy, and they almost always have some form of on-the-nose commentary, and they all follow this same formula of like, this is the setup of the novel. Something bad happens, it gets resolved, and everyone's happily ever after in the end. It's like this same formula, the same plot, the same surface level crap for a majority, not all, but a majority of the newer releases the past few years. Now, of course, is it just the past few years? Has this been going on for a while? I don't know, because I'm someone who used to love new releases when I first started reading. And I think that's the key there. When I first started reading, everyone has to start somewhere, okay? It's like I'm gonna compare this to doing makeup because I'm also a makeup artist. So It's like, okay, you don't just start out a special effects makeup artist out of nowhere, right? Like, you start out like as a little child playing with, you know, your mom's makeup or whatever, and then she buys you a lip gloss set for Christmas, okay? And like, you slowly start getting into this and building upon that, and then you know, start learning how to do eyeshadow, and you start learning like the steps of doing your makeup, and then you build upon that. It's the same thing as anyone else. It's anything else. It's the same thing as like doing a job or, you know, doing a hobby. Like, you don't just automatically become good at it. And that's how reading is. Like, you start out somewhere, you start out reading like easier books, and then you kind of, you know, grow and evolve from there. So I think new releases are great for people just getting into reading, people who don't read super often, like, you know, you read a book here and there, like at the beach or whatever, and it's escapism. And a lot of people will argue and say the new release books are fun and they're entertaining, and that is their purpose, and I agree with you. And, you know, to be able to just like lie down at night, read a couple pages of a book for like escapism before you fall asleep, or read a book at the beach, whatever. Yes, these entertaining, simplistic books have a time and a place. And like I said, if you're reading them all the time and enjoying them, fine. I love that for you, okay? But I think a lot of people like start out reading these books and then kind of grow from there and realize maybe that's not what I'm looking for. So like I said, I don't even know if this is a recent issue or if it's been ongoing, but I think the issue maybe has always been there and has just progressively gotten worse. And I think that is due to the growth of things like TikTok and short form content. When we look at things like TikTok, we have these, you know, BookTokers that are blowing up, and it's all, you know, 1 minute or less content. So we're scrolling, we're watching someone show a book. This is a book. I read this book. 5 stars. I read this book. 5 stars. And you're not really engaging with the content of the book. You're just seeing someone show a book. Look how pretty it is. It's beautiful. It's Geddy Lee. I don't know. It's such a beautiful, stunning book, right? Next. And it becomes this thing where you're just like showing tons of quantity over quality. So it's, I read 30 books this month. Let me just show you the covers, basically, because I don't have time to explain what each one is about. Or like, they're not even really reviewing books. If you are getting a review, it's less than a minute. You're just getting like surface level someone's thoughts. A lot of the times you're just seeing covers. Read these 10 books because they showed, you know, these are my favorite romances, okay? And you're just seeing 10 covers with no information, maybe 5 words about what the book is about, and then you move on to the next video. So you're not actually engaging with what the book's content is about. You're not learning anything about the book, you're not learning anything about the author, you're not critically thinking, you're not learning someone else's thoughts. The thing that I love about YouTube specifically is like, if I read a book and I have thoughts, and I want to hear someone else's thoughts, I'm not going to go to TikTok. I'm not going to go to Instagram. I'm not going to go to these like short form reviewers. I'm going to go to someone who filmed a 20-minute video about it on YouTube, and I want to hear their thoughts. I want to hear, like, maybe they picked up on something that I didn't. Maybe they felt differently than me. Like, I want to engage with someone else's thoughts and compare my thoughts, because I think that's part of like learning and growing and thinking critically about books and hearing other people's opinions. It's why I love my Patreon book club, because there are a lot of books that I hate that a lot of my patrons love, and we have a discussion about it, and you can kind of learn both sides, and you learn about yourself in the process and the type of reader that you are and how you engage with content. And I'm not gaining that knowledge from watching your 10-second video, you know? It's constantly quantity over quality, quantity over quality. Here's a haul, I bought 10 books, here's a haul, tomorrow, oh, I bought another 10 books, here's a haul, I read 30 new release books, here, like, it's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, it's overwhelming, and what happens is, it puts this thought into everyone's head of, I want the new thing. We see new release books come out, and it's like, oh, that's gonna be so good. I want this new thing. I don't wanna read the 200 books on my shelf that I have right now because they're old news, right? I want the new best thing that's out right now that's hyped that everyone's talking about. Capitalism, baby. We see the same thing in everything. The new iPhone coming out, a new car, dating apps. Dating apps are meant for you to fail. They want you to keep thinking, oh, there's something better, let me just keep swiping because something is better out there. And like the girl sitting in front of me talking to me is old news, like let me find a new one, you know? And it's just like, it's ingrained into our brains that like newer equals better. And that's not always the case, because I could argue it's the opposite for books, okay? That's why we're here today. So it's just, we are meant to be thinking this way because they want us to spend money, okay? New releases are buzzworthy. They create hype. Publishers want this. They start sending out books to ARC readers and reviewers. And it's, oh, this BookToker's super popular. I'm gonna send her this copy of so-and-so's book coming out next month because she's gonna read it and talk about it and people are gonna buy it. So then, of course, these reviewers are going to keep reviewing. If they even read the books is another fucking question, but they're going to keep reviewing these new release books that are sent to them because they want more free stuff and they can make content using free stuff and make money off of that content. So it's just this cycle of people making money off of one another, right? Yeah, and then what happens is like the general public who aren't, you know, reviewing on social media, they give into the hype. They're like, okay, 20 of my favorite book talkers and book reviewers and booktubers, whatever, are talking about this book. Now I want this book. I'm going to go to the bookstore and purchase this book. The publisher and the author are making money off of this. It's all just hype and marketing and capitalism, okay? And then what happens is the algorithm online pushes two categories, okay? Shocking and taboo content, and safe, sanitized, often virtue signaling content that appeals to the masses. I'm sorry if my straw has been rattling in my coffee. I really hope it hasn't been. I'm going to set it down. Because I'm annoying myself. Okay, I'm gonna use examples for this. So when I say shocking, taboo content, think about like what books blow up on TikTok. A lot of dark romance, taboo, smut, shadow daddy, monster fucking, I don't know. I'm not in that scene. It is not my thing. I have thoughts. I'm not going to share them in this video, but we see a lot of these like indie dark romance smutty books. We're seeing a lot of extreme horror type content, a lot of Playground by Erin Beauregard. When I think like the videos on my channel that are popular, Cows by Matthew Stucco, you know, Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison, we're thinking about these like disturbing books because what is going to grasp your attention? A title that says, my new favorite romance book of the year, or a title that says, he had sex with what? Like, obviously the second one about a man, you know, having sex with a door or something, like that's going to grasp someone's attention. So that is what the algorithm pushes. This like shocking, weird content that like people are curious about but don't necessarily want to read sometimes. They just want to be entertained by a story, right? Or we look at the other side of things, these super safe, sanitized books that appeal to the masses. We think, you know, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, these popular like romantasy books that come out, the Emily Henry romances, the new released, you know, Grady Hendrix or Rachel Harrison books. They are safe and cozy and entertaining for mass audiences, right? And I said they often feature virtue signaling content, which what I mean by that is we are seeing so much on the nose commentary. And listen, books are political. Books have always been political. Books have always had commentary. Almost always a book has commentary about something or someone or has a message, right? I don't get offended by that. I get offended by how it's done, how it's handled, because a lot of the new releases feel like it is so forced. It is so in your face. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is the message. This is what I believe in. These are my political beliefs. It's like, why don't you just write a memoir at this point? Because we're seeing so much. I'm going to use an example. I just finished a new release book, and a lot of people in their reviews were saying, I did not like this book, but I really enjoyed the bisexuality representation. Therefore, I'm giving this book 4 stars. Why this is a problem is because it's not the bisexuality representation that bothers me. Like, I agree with what the book is saying. What I don't agree with is I don't have any characterization. This book has 0 depth. I know nothing about these characters. They're paper thin stick figure people, and all I know is that this person is a villain and wears a cowboy hat. And the villain says, I don't believe in bisexuality. Out of nowhere, out of the blue. And then we have to have a whole discussion out of nowhere in the middle of the book about, you know, bisexuality and why it's a very real thing, and like how the author thinks about what the author thinks about bisexuality, and, you know, his commentary on sexuality. And it's so out of place, and I'm like, and I read older books that have similar like social political commentary, whatever, and they're done in a way where it's very like flowy with the book. It makes sense. It's not super in your face. Sometimes there's like hidden meaning, metaphors, whatever. Like, you don't have to, a book doesn't have to be that deep. I'm just saying, like, it feels so forced and out of place nowadays. And I think a lot of people then read these books and they're worried about getting canceled or whatever if they say something bad about the book, because I can't say something bad about this book when it's about sexuality, or people are going to be mad at me. So I have to say, oh, I didn't like this book, but I really love the representation, so 5 stars. So now we have this problem where we have a bunch of people reviewing books based on how they feel about the author's political and social commentary in the book, and it's not even about the book itself. Meanwhile, this commentary feels very out of place and random in the book. So I just feel like, because things like the political climate right now is a hot mess and everyone's angry and ranting online, and it's like, now we're seeing it in our books that are oversaturated with this, and now this type of content is being forced and pushed out. Some of these books, I swear, it literally feels like the author has a gun to his head and the publisher's like, you need to write about this topic or we're gonna pull the trigger. Can I even say that on here? Am I gonna get fucking arrested now? But yeah, that's literally what it feels like. I'm like, this feels really awkward. It's awkward dialogue. And like I said, it's not the commentary that's the issue. That's not the thing that bothers me. It's how it's done. Like, oh my God. I'm like, just shut up. That's why I loved Rejection by Tony Tulathamudi so much, because that's literally like what that book was about, like virtue signaling behavior, like people talking about things when it's not their place to be talking about them. Loved that book. So yeah, so we're seeing that side of things, these safe, sanitized, like, here's commentary about the world, and then we're seeing sexually graphic, violent, shocking, taboo content. That is what the algorithm pushes. That is what gets views. And so because that's what gets views, authors are now chasing to write about those things. That's why we see books written about the same things over and 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 over again. Traditional publishing, the publishers are pushing authors. We see these authors come out year after year after year after year with a new book, year after year. And the books aren't good because they're pressured to write in, please write this book about this within the next year. And they're not putting enough thought and time and energy into this book. They're like barely edited, I feel like, and then they're just pushed out because the publishers know that this is a popular author and they're gonna sell. I'm not shaming or shit-talking these authors, but think about Riley Sager, Rachel Harrison, Grady Hendrix. Think about all these popular authors that are pumping out books year after year after year, and all of us are here thinking like the same thing. Why aren't these books any good like they used to be? Capitalism, publishers, the algorithm, hello, becomes this cycle of fast fashion. And okay, this is going to sell, write a book about this, give it to me within a year, we're gonna pump it out and sell it to everyone, we'll give you a chunk of the money and we keep our profit. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then we're gonna give it to a bunch of book talkers for free that will show the cover like this for 5 seconds and make us money. And these authors are like, okay, I need money. It's easy for me to write 300 pages of plot that gives 0 character development, 0 anything, and I can just throw in some political social commentary in there, get a bunch of people to create hype about it because they think it's great representation, and like, I'll get a check then. It's easy to write 300 pages of action scenes. It's not easy to convey characterizations that are deep and meaningful and connect with the reader. And I think a lot of us who read for that reason, a lot of us who read to feel a connection, to understand ourselves, to understand others and their cultures and other people's beliefs, and those of us who read to feel something, we're disappointed by new releases. We don't want the 300 pages of action scenes. We want meaning. We want reasoning. We want something that makes us feel, and we're not getting that. It's not easy to sit down and actually like capture emotions on page to make someone else feel something. It's not easy using that language. It's not easy, brushing up on your writing skills. It's just not that simple to like work on the craft of writing itself. So we just see, okay, I'm gonna sit down and like, blah, 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 blah. Here's a bunch of action scenes, done, send it to my publisher. Next, I have to start working on the next book for next year. It's fast fashion. And then we have book talkers who are complaining about, oh my gosh, there's so many words. Why does this book have words on these pages? I don't know, I just skim them. They're reading new releases, they're reading, indie dark romance books that are 100 pages. They're like, I read 35 books this month because you skimmed. And they're saying that they read these books. They're only reading dialogue. They're skimming through things. They're not engaging critically. They're not thinking about what they read. They're not engaging with the text. They're not thinking. It's just, I read a bunch of dialogue. I'm gonna film this minute-long clip. I'm gonna upload it and make money. Media literacy is out the window. Okay, no one's engaging with text anymore. That's why I've been trying to read like a lot of older books and think about what I'm reading, because I don't want to get sucked into this trap of, oh my god, I need to read 30 books for the internet this month. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to do. I want to read because I'm enjoying it. I DNF a lot now. You guys see my wrap-ups. I only read a few books per month compared to what I used to. I'm trying to slow down because I don't want to become stupid. I can't do it. But yeah, reading has become something that's like trendy and cute and popular. And listen, I'm glad if BookTok is getting people to read, okay? It's better than, hello, Binks the Bat one to say hi. It's better than, you know, going out and shooting up heroin or whatever behind a dumpster. But like, hello, is it really a hobby? Do you even like reading? Is it even a hobby? If you're like, I don't know, there's words on this page, I just like look at a few of them and then I'm done. It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think you actually enjoy reading if that's what you're doing. It's just more of like, look at me, look at what I'm doing, I'm popular. So yeah, and then because short form content is such a thing, everyone's attention span out the fucking window. I can't sit down and watch a YouTube video because I can only pay attention for 10 seconds because my attention span is so bad. Listen, I have ADHD, so my attention span like actually is really bad. Like, try to get me to pay attention to a movie, it's not gonna happen, okay? So like, that I understand, but when it comes to like engaging with content, engaging with literature, like I said, learning about different books and hearing reviews, this short form content is killing all of us. It's killing our brain cells. No one can pay attention to anything. They don't want to pay attention to a 30-minute YouTube video. Everything is like skimming and quick, fast, like it's making us stupid. It's killing us. It's killing our brain cells, okay? No one can think critically, no one can think logically, and like I said, yes, these entertaining, like, books that don't have meaning and depth have a time and a place. They're valuable, and I'm not saying that they're not. I'm saying that, like, some books we should be thinking critically. Some books, if you are someone who enjoys reading, like, there are some books that you should be sitting down and thinking about and taking your time with. Not everything has to be like, I only read 100 pages of smut every day. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the internet is doing to us, guys. But I think we've cracked the case here. I think it's a matter of everyone wanting this instant gratification, the new next best thing, being likable online, and then capitalism just fucks us. That's about it. That is the conclusion that I've come to. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree, what your thoughts are. Do you like new releases? Do you notice the same problem? Let's have a discussion about it. Yeah, I think that's all that I had to say. I think that's all I had to talk about. Listen, that's never the end. I always have more to talk about. Maybe I'll film a part 2 to this video if I have more things to say. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.